So today we're going to be looking at the brand new Centurions and also Centurions icons. We've got all of them in the list. We've got Nunez as the first SBC, and then I believe today we should be getting Varane. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even Pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. I'm not really too excited for Varane. I thought David Beckham might have been the SBC. I saw it at the very first leak that it could have been, but unfortunately not. So Varane is going to be the SBC. I don't think he's going to be worth that much unless they really give him a massive boost. Alongside that, we did get the Ballon d'Ors. I think I like them. I like the idea. I think it's a great idea. Love the card design, but in practice, giving everybody unlimited loans, probably not the greatest idea. And maybe could have saved this for Team of the Year. I get that it's in the market right now, but it most definitely could have been like, give him Bon Mati and Rodri at 99, but give them the Ballon d'Or card, or you have the choice to upgrade them to the Ballon d'Or card. I don't know. There's a lot that they could go wrong or right with that. Depends on what you're looking at. Now, in terms of prices, we've obviously got quite a lot of higher rated icons. These are the very first promos that we've got. We're looking at Ribery at 3.2 as the most expensive. He has dropped down 1 million coins. Beckham has pretty much stayed on the money. The American has pretty much stayed there as well. We've dropped about 200 on Van der Sar, and I believe everybody else is roughly around about where they were. There's a couple of ups and downs, maybe 50 to 100k here or there, but everybody's kind of stayed at their sort of peak, to be honest. The big thing with Beckham, I'd say, is one of my favourites from this set, because Ribery is very decent. He's not got my playstyle plus I like in terms of technical, but Beckham, incisive pass, can still go into the middle. It's better than the dead ball at this point because he is so much better as a midfielder in the centre mid rather than in the right mid. Whether you agree or disagree, completely down to you, obviously. Stat-wise, at least it's a solid upgrade for him. 5 on the pace, 3-2, 3-6-3, which is always fantastic. Now, obviously, everybody's going to go for something either attacking for him, or maybe you creep in a bit more defensive if you wanted to go for more pace, as well as then going for, say, like the Shadow, 93, 79. I can see why people would go into that. Obviously, Engine's going to be a big one to get a bit more agility balance. Really go in for that passing at 98, especially with the incisive. He can be just that floater in the middle and still have the ability to shoot as well. I think he's going to be absolutely wonderful in the game. He's going to be up there for me in the absolute top. I would say Ribery's going to be there at the minute as well. He's kind of just there purely on stats basis at the moment, and he will definitely drop as we go through the game. But you can't ignore a 3.2 million icon. Like he's got the 5.5. He's got very good stats across the board. It is just personally for me, the technical isn't necessarily my favourite, and that just goes down to me personally. We then also have Van der Sar, quite an easy one for me. I absolutely love his normal card. This one's just a slight upgrade. Nothing too crazy on it, obviously. We're looking at just 1s and 2s across the board from an 88 to an 89. Doesn't change the playstyle plus. I think he gets goalkeeper plus. Did he already have that? I'm pretty sure he already had that. Yeah, he just gets the ability to be a sweeper keeper plus. Not too fussed about that personally. I'm going to keep him as a goalkeeper as standard. We also have, is it Fowdy? We got Julie. We got Julie the American. 1.2 mil. She's obviously a great link to a lot of the Americans that we've had. Sophia Smith, Morgan's SBC, Swanson, Rodman. We got, I can't remember who the other one was. Dunn. We obviously had her as an SBC as well. So she's going to be in favoured for that as a nice little upgrade. It's not necessarily the biggest, which is absolutely fine. Long ball plus, which is fantastic in comparison to the Relentless as well. And she also got a weak foot upgrade, which personally for me, I'd put her up there as one of the better midfielders that you can get. You go with an anchor potential 86, 86, 89. I mean, that's quite an easy one, to be honest. I'd still possibly go more towards an S in the centre mid, thinking of what else we have. When it comes to the likes of Beckham's, Ribery and Van der Sar, I think they are absolutely top of the top. Whereas with Julie, I think she is kind of more situational based. In terms of who she links to, she's an S+. Like that's going to be fantastic, but there is definitely better out there in that position. Like I'd probably go with Beckham over her, really. Realistically, let's be real there. Obviously, the rest of the icons, we've got Schweinsteiger, got a few of the kind of middle tier with the likes of Nedved at 570, still got the power shot, which is going to be nice. We have then, obviously, Schweinsteiger with his pinged pass. They didn't bother changing that one. Did they give him a weak foot upgrade? Yeah, skill move and weak foot upgrade. So they did go all in. Pace-wise, didn't get that much of an upgrade, which is where I think the kind of standard comes into it. We have Crespo with an aerial plus rather than the power header. Interesting change of events there. I think that's going to give him a wonderful bonus up front. We know what, obviously, the aerial plus is like. And he is 6 foot as well, so that's going to be a nice option. I wonder, actually, with these aerial pluses coming in, okay, we've got Closer coming down now. He's took a massive dip because he raised all the way up to about, what, 664. And you can see, just from the launch of these, he has dropped massively. Well, whether that is an Icon SBC rumoured to come or not, it's an interesting one. Van Nistelrooy, from first touch to press proven, you might as well just kept it the same, to be honest. It's pretty standard. Striking-wise, he's going to be good enough, but unfortunately, he's always going to be behind the curve, if we're being honest. Sol Campbell, always fantastic. And then we've obviously got Zambrotta with a minor upgrade. Now, he's still going to be an incredible left back, right back, but naturally, he's going to be kind of more into that S. I'd probably go for something along the lines of this. What would Laudrup's upgrade, in fact? He's one that, to be honest, I'm just never a fan of. He's still got the Trickster Plus. He's got a 4-star, 5-star now. Slight upgrade, 327. Did we get any play? What do we got? We got Playmaker plus plus, and everything else is plus. Did he already have that? He already had that. So he's just been given a lot more roles. It seems to be that's going to be another big upgrade that we need to kind of watch out for. Personally, for me, I'm not that much of a fan of Laudrup. I think he can be quite bulky in my opinion. And that's where I'd kind of just prefer somebody else personally. Then we throw on to the Centurions. If we go for the SBC first, in fact, we did get Mr. Darwin coming in at 274. It's very nice indeed. It's took a big upgrade from his 82. Obviously, with the 82 as well, there is always kind of ability to get him upgraded with a lot of different upgrades. And I think if we go for this one, okay, yeah, it's not much more. So when we look at it now in comparison, when we've paid 100k, maybe an evolution prior to this as well, this isn't the first evolution he could fit into. It does put them into perspective. Now, obviously, with this one, he has got the Quick Step Plus. They know exactly what they're doing. This card is going to be one well worth doing. 274k, very good striker. He's obviously coming in controlled lengthy, or mostly lengthy, depending on how you want him. It's a brilliant card. They have kind of gone for it that the finisher does keep him controlled, but with the quick step, it's still going to be fantastic. If you wanted to go for more of the hunter and just leave out that agility balance, it's still plausible, and I get a lot of people are going to go for that finisher because the 72 balance could do with that upgrade. But he's a great card. I think that SBC for me is one of the better ones in terms of pricing that we've seen for a fair few as well. They seem to be very up and down on the pricing this year. Moving into the team then, we've got some absolute ballers. We've got Sonny Baby coming in at 2.1. We have Leao just shy under the 2 million. We've got, obviously, Rodri as well with a massive, massive upgrade for him. Fantastic pace upgrade for a plus 14. Obviously, the 97 is going to be outshadowing that at the moment, but you can't pack that. That loan eventually will go. Rodri is absolutely top tier in this. They did change the tiki-taka as well to a Bruiser Plus. Role-wise, we're looking at Deep Line Playmaker plus, everything else plus. What do we have? Do we have that as the same? We had that the same, but you can see they've added quite a few more plus roles in there, which definitely adds a little bit more versatility to him. So I think it's quite easy, and as well, when you throw in a little bit of Hansen also at 3.5, she is going to be overshadowed by the 95, but realistically, it's not that big of an upgrade, which is the scary part. From a 92 to a 95, she does have that Quick Step Plus, which is massive, still with a 5.5, but stats-wise, we're looking very, very similar. She is absolutely unbelievable. I personally would go these two at the absolute of the top. I'd look at Son into kind of more of the S. Leao's an interesting one, because personally, I don't know how he's so good in this game. Like, he just He works. Last year he was good, and normally team of the season is kind of even better when you look at the generations of him. Last year the 96 was fantastic, his 95 was fantastic, but I never really got on with these cards. Whereas they've started the game, and honestly these two cards are unbelievable for the rating he is. He is absolutely fantastic. So for me, I personally would be looking at the absolute top for him. Son is pretty much up there, but I think with Son especially being in that striker or left wing, left mid, it is mainly the finesse that is keeping him there, in my opinion. Obviously, if you took it away and maybe added like a quick step or, well, not a quick step, because that's just as meta. If you added like a rapid or an incisive pass, something completely different that isn't very meta broken, I don't think he'd be as good in my opinion. Looking through the rest of the team, because you do have a lot of the low ones as well. Obviously, there's got to be. We look at Renard with the Anticipate, still a very good centre-back in her. Obviously, Sinclair, a few of the really cheaper ones coming in. There's nobody really that's caught my eye here. I think a lot of them are pretty bog standard at the bottom. There's not really too much to them. Muller did get a good pace upgrade, I suppose. That's 23 increase, which is exactly what you need for these lower cards. I'm glad they've actually taken that on board and done that, because Muller, I think in previous years, I think last year he managed to get, as I say, at the end he did, but even when you look here, like, you've gone from an 87 to an 88, but it's just a one pace. I mean, if this wasn't useless enough, this is just as useless. And then even then we got the 90. It's a 90 with 82 pace. Granted, this was still early on into the game, so he might have a bit of usability, but by this point, everybody was already far past it. Even when we get to the FUT birthday, 84 pace on a Muller is not enough. You need it to be more. So I'm glad that they've really kind of shot up on this rating already. Still not going to give him that much playability, but at least he's somewhere in the remit. So when we do get evolutions, he still has that ability. Tar obviously coming in at 180, decent centre-back again, aerial plus, always going to be fantastic. And then do have a Martinez with his 91 finesse shot card, again going to come in very, very well. I'd go with Martinez to join next to Son. I'd be looking at obviously Donnarumma there as well. Renard I think would be into that category. Muller would be dropped down. I think Tar, whilst aerial plus is broken, is definitely still up there. And obviously a lot of these kind of lower ones, really doesn't matter where I go. If I go A or if I go B+, they're pretty bog standard. Like, of course they are. So I think most of them as well don't have a Playstyle Plus, which is going to hinder them at the most at least a couple of weeks, because we are going to get an evolution for these to get Playstyle Pluses. You can just see that a mile away. So maybe don't chuck them away just yet. Like obviously with like Mancini, if we get like an Anticipate, an aerial, a block, a slide tackle plus as an evolution, just as a playstyle plus, it makes him semi-usable. Like 80, 86 and 88 on the defended physical isn't awful, but it's not. It's kind of awful without the playstyle plus. That's what I'm trying to get at really there. So I would kind of drop a lot of these down in my opinion. I just don't think no playstyle plus is going to really help them massively at this point, because it's what we need. It's absolutely what we need. We've got so many cards at this point that have them. Unfortunately, the ones without them are just going to be left in the dust a little bit, without at least either that name that's given them some sort of stats. Like Jesus Navas here, 90 pace, 82 defending, 86 on the dribbling, at least is going to keep something going. We see someone like Ferran Torres, 150,000 coins. Would I put him in an A+ really at this point? Like he's good enough, but he's not necessarily got anything too crazy. He's got the plus on the roll, which is nice, a 4-4, but still no playstyle plus is going to drop them. And realistically, if I'm looking at the likes of Van Nistelrooy and Laudrup being the kind of catalyst here, the argument needs to be like Muller's got at least the power shot plus, which is nice. We have got Chan with a bruiser, still not enough. I think McKennie could hold a little bit more of his own because of how balanced his stats are. Still needs the 4-4 at a minimum. Still needs a playstyle plus. That could be a nice future card. We then have Koke, decent enough, ping pass. It's not necessarily my personal favourite. Travella on obviously Gerard Moreno. Schürrle, I'd possibly go into the A+ really there. I think she's most definitely got got something about her that would keep her in that sort of category. And then we also have Modric, kind of been left alone really this year. 7.75, obviously got a lot of passing and dribbling stats, which is fair enough. Defending is a little bit left alone. Obviously a lot of people are just going to either link into his defensive unit to try and get that as balanced out as possible. You can go with the anchor or shadow. Personally, I'd go with the anchor. I think 89 pace is not needed as much for him. Or you just kind of like lean into more of the actual shooting side of him and go for the hunter, turn him into more of a cam. So I think for him, with the technical plus, I'm not a big fan favourite of it. I'd drop him into the A plus personally. Whereas we look at the likes of Bruno, obviously more of a cam, he's gone into that 88. He isn't necessarily the greatest card, like he's had a little bit of a pace upgrade into that 78, which is nice, especially with some of the cams most definitely. And he has had an upgrade into that incisive, which I do think is a massive, massive dub for him. So I would be looking at the final two like this. So that is going to be my list. Let me know down below how you get on. We have got Team 2 coming very, very soon and all the SBCs to follow. Let me know if you managed to get any, especially the icons. Peace.